Hey guys, my name is Tim. We have our Mayor Rich Tran right here, and this is our second episode of Coffee with the Mayor, second official episode. And today we're going to be talking about another hot topic: traffic. We're going to be talking about traffic in Milpitas, going out of Milpitas, coming into Milpitas, and all that. And I do have a few questions that I'm going to bring up, but we are live. We are here to take your questions. We're here to take questions from you, comments from you, anything about traffic, and we'll answer them here live. But for now, we're just gonna roll into a conversation, and we're just gonna just get everything out in the open. So, anything you want to open up with?
That's right, Tim said it right. It's your Mayor Rich Tran. We're here deep in the neighborhoods of Milpitas, and you're doing Coffee with the Mayor, hosted by Tim Alcorn, Milpetian, Milpitas bred, Milpitas proud, Milpitas product. And we're going to be hanging out, drinking some coffee with you for 30 minutes or so. And we're going to be taking your questions. Go ahead and comment with your questions. We're right here. We're watching the stream. And we'll be happy to include you in a community discussion about traffic. So, Tim, let me ask you, since you'll be asking most of the questions, what do you think about traffic? You live in Milpitas.
Traffic is terrible. It's awful, and as of right now, there's no sign of it getting better. It's just getting worse. The last episode we talked about housing and a lot of new people coming in, a lot of new housing being built, and that definitely hasn't helped the traffic at all. We've added houses. We're adding BART. We're adding all this stuff, and it doesn't. We're refinishing roads. Montague, I think, got a lane added, and it's getting stuff to accommodate BART. Getting, I think there's a pedestrian walkway in the works too.
That's right.
So that'll be really helpful. But besides that, there's not a whole lot. And so, right now off the top of my head, Montague is a huge traffic cluster. We have Calaveras. It's probably the biggest one. Calaveras
That's
headed
a tough
towards
one.
880 and
That's
237.
Yeah.
Milpitas doesn't technically have control over those streets, so it's hard. But and then actually, surprisingly, in the morning, South Park Victoria is crazy.
Oh
backed up
yeah,
now,
South Park
near
Victoria.
Taco Bell.
Oh
Near
yeah,
Taco
rush
Bell.
hour.
Yeah.
You would have never thought.
Yeah, it's just a normal city street. There's a Taco Bell, a Starbucks, and it gets backed up.
Yeah.
And so let's just let's break down those three areas right now and see what we can do. So
definitely, and we're talking about traffic, and I guess you could say we're talking about transportation infrastructure as well. And all the residents I talk to always want to know what we're doing as a city, as the government, to alleviate and to mitigate the traffic that we all experience. But I want to tell a little story about my traffic experiences in Milpitas and the history. The traffic really coincides with our economy here in Silicon Valley and Santa Clara Valley and Milpitas. We're part of this great region that really creates a lot of jobs. And I remember before the recession, when the economy was doing good, there's an increase in traffic. And then when the recession hit, and the jobs were lost, I remember we didn't have any traffic. It was 09, 2010, 2011. I was driving in my Chrysler 300 around town, going to get some noodles at the pho restaurant. I was going to Las Vegas Taqueria.
Stuffed pizza.
I was going to Stuffed Pizza. I was going to Burrito Express. I was in my car, and there was no traffic really. I would even drive to San Jose State, cruise, and be there in 15 minutes. And with this economic recovery that we've had over the past more than a handful of years now, actually, we've seen the jobs come back and the traffic come back. And I'd like to say the same. I felt like during the .com kind of boom or era at the turn of the century, the tech industry again was kind of roaring, and that brought a lot of jobs. And we had somewhat of a housing crisis then too. So that's and now we're here in 2018, and the traffic is worse. It's the all-time worst. It's worse than some parts of LA, which is saying a lot. I lived in LA for about 4 years when I was in college, and I sat in that LA traffic for on Highway 10, Interstate 10, and I've been in horrendous. I've been in traffic for 8 hours one time, and so I know here in Milpitas we need to do all we can to alleviate the traffic. And so that's my story. I like to tell stories, but to touch on those four areas that you just brought up, Tim, I'll just go over them real quick, and then I see we got a bunch of questions. Looking forward to you moderating this thing, but Calaveras is a concern. Here are my thoughts and my opinions. I think Calaveras, it's a state route 237, and the city doesn't really control or manage or even maintain Calaveras coming in from 880 east into Milpitas all the way through to, I believe it's Park Victoria. I believe all the way through to Park Victoria. So every stoplight on Calaveras going either direction is controlled by the state. And every time that the signal intersection light goes out, we got to call the state. We got to call the state of California. They got to come in and they got to fix it. Sometimes you go over the Main Street overpass and you see the trees are hanging over kind of the road, the lane, and we got to call it in to get someone from state to come in and chop it down. So one thing I really wish for, and I need to really work harder for and explore, is how we can take control of that boulevard in our city. And I think if we had somehow come to a point where we can control Calaveras, we can control the streetlight technology, we can control the capital improvements. I think that would be a huge, huge improvement for our city. And I know some people say, oh, well, the overpass at Calaveras and Main Street, even if you widen it to 3 lanes, it's still going to be a bottleneck. But let me tell you what, it'll be less of a bottleneck. And I feel like at Able and the intersection of Milpitas Boulevard, if we can have proper design and engineering and technology, we can really make an impactful difference. I want to say, folks, stop at a light or 2 lights and get folks going. And then you mentioned South Park Victoria. South Park Victoria is like horrendous now because everybody's using Waze on their phone. They're getting the app. They're going on Waze, and the technology with the GPS. Folks are taking Old Evans Road, and it's bad. I avoid that area during rush hour. South Park Victoria. And all the folks over there in the Parktown area, and I'm not here to say I'm going to build an extra lane or 2 lanes or
Wait, you're not?
flyover.
Why are we doing this?
But there's definitely measures that we'll take as far as possible and common sense things. And then what's the other area you mentioned?
There's Montague, Calaveras, and the South Park Victoria.
Right, so my thoughts on Montague, it's a lot going on over there by the BART station and the mall. They're lifting the road, the expressway up, and folks in Milpitas, let me tell you, if you didn't already know, that expressway is controlled and maintained and managed by the county. I remember when the winter hit in 2017, and it was one of the wettest winters, that road was getting jacked up. Mm-hmm. There was potholes left and right. My friend's mom hit a pothole, busted the rim and tires. She was calling me. She was very upset. And I called the county, and our staff called the county, and the county went ahead and addressed the road concerns. And that's the thing about Milpitas, Tim. We are a gateway. We got 2 interstates. We got a state route. We got a county expressway. And it's a whole lot to manage. And we're going to manage it. And we're going to do it slowly and surely. And folks can always reach out to us, and we're going to get you the answers. We're going to get your concerns addressed.
And if, besides Calaveras, because it's a state-run road, but if you see anything, potholes, lights that are out, just look up the Public Works, look up the phone number, just give them a call. They're very responsive. We have a great team over at Public Works.
Oh, yeah.
And they live and breathe, making our city great. and just
Public
give them a call.
Works. Give them a call. 408-586-2600. And if you ever get lost with who to contact, you can go to the city website. Go ahead and search on the internet, City of Milpitas, Public Works. You can reach out to us here on Facebook, and I'll get you that information that you need.
There you go. All right. Well, we have a ton of comments already.
Do we?
Yeah. And so, hey, Robert. So we actually answered your question, but the state has control of Calaveras and 237. It's a state road, and a lot of that has to do with if you get off 237 and you follow it, you actually head into the Ed Levin Park area, which is a county run, and so that whole stretch there. There's a little portion that's controlled by Milpitas. It's Park Victoria to Evans, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And after that, it's all state and county ran. But you know, he's been saying for a while he wants to get control of it, and you know, if we work hard enough, we might just do that.
It's gonna be a long process. I'm not here to make any promises. I actually haven't made any promises to anybody since being the mayor, and that's been pretty awesome. But I'm going to work really hard and report all the information to the residents. And I think a lot of folks appreciate that, so I appreciate you.
So let's dive in. Hey, Liz, if you're wondering why the picture is sideways, I redid... This is my place. I redid the wall, and I haven't moved all the pictures yet.
I tried to tell him. I tried to tell him, but... You know, we're just glad you're watching. Yeah.
It's a good question, though. I was hoping no one would notice. So, let's see. Let's move in. People run the red lights going into the mall, as well as gridlock by the VTA depot entryway.
All right.
He's talking about the Great Mall Parkway on the weekends. It's crazy.
The Great Mall is crazy.
It's one of the biggest outlet malls in California.
Yeah.
And it's popular. I was talking to someone who lived in Seattle the other day, and she says sometimes she vacations here to go to the Great Mall. It's crazy. That's not made up. That's real.
The Great Mall, if you're a Milpetian, you appreciate the Great Mall. You appreciate the food court. You appreciate the movie theater.
Hot dog on a stick.
Hot dog on a stick. I'm at Burlington Coat Factory on the weekdays. I'm usually shopping in there. They're open till 10 or 11. It's amazing how late Burlington opens during the week. And I go over there for the deals, but I go there on weekdays at night because of the traffic.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're a Milpetian, you know to avoid the Great Mall on the weekend. I'm sorry. I encourage everybody to go shop in there. Great products. The Great Mall is actually looking pretty good. All the renovations, huh?
Oh yeah, it's looking good.
There's water fountains in there. It's awesome. But back to the traffic. During the weekends, you know it's crazy, and you don't go to the Great Mall. There's a lot of Milpetians that work at the Great Mall, which is pretty awesome jobs. But I see hear their voices, and it's tough. It's tough for them to get to work even. And simply put, the mall, there's not enough space. Too many people, too many customers, which is amazing for the sales tax for Milpitas. But let me tell you, even though it's the largest mall in Northern California, with over 220 businesses and shops, there's still the demand is crazy. And so just avoid the mall in general. I know Montague's under construction, that adds to things. Bart's under construction, that adds to things. Everything over there is under construction, as approved by the last city council and the past city councils. So I would just say avoid it on the weekend during the daytime, because Milpitas Great Mall business is booming. And you know what? Just hang tight, people, because we cut through there anyways. We go through to Santa Clara. We're cutting, go to Fuck Him Long. We're there's all these cool places over there. I would just say, hang tight, let all that construction finish up, and hopefully when that's all done, there'll be a tranquil, kind of synchronized body of traffic. And what's hard though, when you leave the Great Mall and you're kind of going south, and then you try to hit the left on Montague, Landis, You ever been at that left turn light?
Oh yes.
Yeah, that's a tough one, and hopefully, everything around it we can work on, and I'll keep an eye out on things, and just let me know. Send me a message, if I don't know, I can't help you.
Well, that's good. So one thing I've actually been seeing a couple people comment on is bike pathways. You know, bike routes, bike lanes. You know, I encourage people to ride their bikes to work if they are local. You know, it's one less car off the streets, better for the environment, better for traffic, and you don't have to sit in traffic if you're on a bike. And it's a great way to stay in shape too, which is cool. But what they're asking is, in a couple of different ways. You know, is there a way to improve the bike lane system and bike trails and bike routes? Is there a way to do that?
Yeah, absolutely. We have a commission here in the city that is looking at kind of a bike plan for us, and then we have our city staff who are working on a bike plan. We want to do a bike share program and just take Milpitas to that next level. I remember living in Manhattan. I know I always talk about a little story in my past, but I want to just share my kind of perspective on how I want to see Milpitas in my vision. When I was living in New York, they created a lot of bike-friendly avenues, and you can really ride your bike through Manhattan. And imagine how hard that is. Riding your bike through New York City, you're talking traffic, crazy taxis, folks are speeding.
Tons of
people, pedestrians, and, New York even has designated bike lanes that work. And other cities, Santa Monica, California has very nice bike paths, and we really need to see Milpitas step it up with our bike game and our bike plan. And we need to paint our bike lanes, right? We need to show them that they're green like other cities. And we're not trying to be like other cities. We just want to be the best city. So that is one thing on the list among many things that there are folks working on it. And it is being cared for, and the attention is there. So you just got to stay tuned, Milpitas. And I got to make sure it don't take too long either, because that'll be trouble for me. And it'll be a great day when we all come together as a community and really celebrate our bike paths and lanes. And I'd love to see a bike master plan that kind of includes a route. You see folks up by the hills on Old Evans riding their bike. It's very popular up there. Let's get a circuit in Milpitas and really make it cool. This city, you look at the map of Milpitas, it's art, and we're going to draw up the most beautiful bike plan that we can do.
I like that. And one piece of advice, from someone who, I don't bike a lot, but I do bike sometimes. But if you're a driver, be watching out for those bikers, those motorcycles, all of that. Be watching out. You have to be really careful while you're driving. I've seen a lot of crazy things on the road. I used to, at one point I commuted to Mountain View every day. I commuted to San Mateo every day. I commuted to Los Gatos every day. For some reason I like picking jobs that are far. I don't know why. But I've seen a ton of crazy things, and it's just from people, they're not really paying attention.
Right.
And, there have been, 2017, there are a good amount of bike accidents.
Right.
I witnessed one myself.
Where is it, here in Milpitas?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was here in Milpitas.
Okay. Yeah, bike safety, safety in general, safety is first. And anything we can do to create a policy for our bicyclists and our roadways, that's going to save us a 911 call, and it's going to save us, our resources here in Milpitas. And that's my job. I got to take more preventative measures for safety. But yeah, definitely when you're riding your bike, make sure you know all your signals, you're wearing your helmet, and you're having a good time. And no drinking and riding your bike.
That's the same as driving. You'll get a DUI on that too.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you're on a skateboard, scooter, bike.
Yeah.
You drink while you're operating something with wheels on the road. That's a DUI right there.
Yeah. Let's move on. Let's see
move on.
What else you got, Tim?
This one was a little interesting. When they closed down the Evans Road because of the mudslide, they routed everyone.
I remember that. Yeah.
They routed everyone to the other entrance up there so that people could still get
Old Calaveras.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what they did was on Evans Road they added in a stop sign because there's going to be a lot more traffic going through that.
I know
way.
that intersection. Yeah.
Yeah. And what this person asked was, it was Liz. Thank you for that question. Really appreciate it.
What's up, Liz?
Is now that it's fixed and both ways are now open.
Right. Okay.
The construction's done.
Yeah, it's been done.
Can we take out the stop sign that they added on Evans Road?
Right. So I think our city and our Department of Engineering and Traffic and our leaders we're taking a look at it. I, for one, want the stop sign to stay.
You want it to stay?
I want the stop sign to stay. Hey, in life, it's okay to stop. It's okay to stop and then keep going. And you know what? There's been a history of accidents there at that intersection. That's not cool. And my job is to make sure that no one dies. And every time someone passes away in Milpitas, it hurts my heart because I always feel like we could have done something. And so that stop sign makes myself and many others in the community sleep better at night. And also the residents at that intersection of Old Calaveras and Evans, the residents there have been asking for some more safety precautions, and that sign is a result of their requests, I think, among many other things. And you got to remember, there's front yards and living rooms just feet away from the intersection. And so we got to put Milpitas families first.
That's what this is all about. I really like this question.
Let's hear it.
From Robert. In case you're a resident who wants to get involved and help make change, I love that.
Yeah.
I'm all about that. So what Robert asked was, what can I do as a resident to help improvements on the improvement of bike lanes? That was a mouthful.
Yeah, there you go, Robert. I appreciate you and all your community and civic engagement and kind of being all together with us on this journey. I know you're, I see you and you're a big communicator with me. And so I want to ask you if you want to take it a step further with your civic engagement. We got commissions, Bicycle and Pedestrian Commission, a group of volunteers that have an official city capacity, folks that swear in and give their time to the city. Let's find you a spot on the committee. Let's get you to the meetings and let's go forward. This city is only as good as we are connected, and we're only as good as a city and a community as much as we collaborate, and we're only as good as all our ideas put together, because everybody has great ideas, everybody has different ideas and new and fresh ideas. So let's keep coming together and let's make this city what we believe it can be.
Like that. And just a reminder, this is live, so anyone who's watching, send in your questions. Whatever question that you have about traffic, whatever ideas you have, whatever you want to see done, send it in. We're all ears right now, and we'll answer all of the questions. Liz actually asked a little earlier, can we still report stuff using the City of Milpitas app?
Yeah, sure you can. Go ahead and report it on the app. You're going to get a report number. And then you could follow up with it if that concern hasn't been addressed. My personal recommendation for folks, if they have a concern in the city, whatever it may be, public safety or public works or engineering, just anything that needs attention, call it into the city. Call it in. Call the department that is designated for your concern and talk to a human being. Call me old-fashioned. I like hearing people's voices. Go ahead and call it in. Call it in. A lot of people, they message me on Facebook. They comment on Facebook to me. And you know what? All I do, I'm a messenger. I'm a representative. I represent you. And I just send your concern over to that department. So, you cut through me. Don't let me be your middleman unless I need to. And yeah, just call it in. You're good. But the app's still there. Check it out.
Where can you get that at? App Store?
Yeah.
Just City of Milpitas?
Yeah, go to the App Store and then look it up, City of Milpitas, My Milpitas. You'll find it. There
you go. So, well, this is an interesting idea from Liz.
Okay.
By the way, Liz, you're contributing a lot. I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, you
same
are.
with Robert. Liz and Robert, man,
Yeah.
these are our
Yeah.
guys right now. Liz said, you know that the bumps they put on the side of the road to wake up drivers if they're kind of screwing off.
Right.
She's looks like her idea is in heavy areas, maybe putting those on the bike lane, so that if a car starts drifting into the bike lane, you know they'll be because those are loud.
Yeah, and I think that's a great idea. You know, we don't want people sleeping at the wheel. That's for sure.
Or even just drifting over and not realizing.
Yeah.
You know, I see a ton of
That's
people.
another way to put it.
Kind of just like driving partway in the bike lane.
Right, right, definitely. And you know, we'll take a look when we get there with these bike lanes. The bike lanes got to be updated. We need 22nd century bike lanes, and we're gonna take a look at that and make sure that's included. And we gotta see what's feasible too. I'm gonna keep it real with Milpitas and just be straightforward. You know, we have to take a look at all the pennies and dollars and all the costs, and you know, there's gonna be a budget in the future at some point for this, and we got to make sure that it is in line with our city's priorities.
There you go. Oh, let's see. What else we got?
Can I choose a couple?
Go for it.
I see Annette here. Hey, Annette, how you doing? We got Annette Jester from the Manor neighborhood, one of Milpitas' greatest residents in one of America's greatest neighborhoods. I've met Annette before, so I guess there's nothing wrong with saying that. Annette, she suggested a flyover, and I want to tell Milpitas right now about the flyover story in Milpitas. Residents that have been living here for long enough, they've seen a lot of the ideas pass through. They've seen things happen. They've seen things not happen, and the flyover is an idea that connects 880 interstate all the way to Interstate 680. Pretty much a flyover. So an elevated roadway on top of Calaveras. Kind of like the light rail. You know, the light rail's kind of up there. And folks at one point were envisioning a flyover to allow Milpetians on the ground level to not be affected by folks cutting through the city. We're talking 50,000 plus cars going through Milpitas, Calaveras every day. It might be 75,000 these days. And so the flyover, people ask me about the flyover all the time. I'm just like, oh man, it's all interesting and funny to me. But the flyover, it's not going to work. It costs too much money. Just getting that Calaveras Main Street overpass kind of upgraded or renovated or redone. I think someone floated me the number. I read a number somewhere in the city, in City Hall. It was $85 million just for that part. And so the flyover would be astronomical, and it's not going to happen. That's the flyover story. All right.
Yeah. What it seems like is, you know, every city has a budget, and the city of Milpitas, you guys, you kind of have to decide where to allocate the funds that come in.
Right.
And you know, things like, you know, sales tax from the Great Mall, new businesses paying taxes coming in. It helps a lot, but we still have to think about schools. We have to think about, you know, the roads themselves that we already have.
Right.
And so it's just a lot to kind of work around.
Yeah, definitely. If I could touch on that, just to provide some context or information, or even an explanation to Milpetians at home watching. Hey, public management and city government is a complicated deal. Some of it's kind of dry, a lot of paperwork, a lot of numbers, a lot of discussions, and it's hard to understand why. Why is this happening? Why isn't that happening? So with our infrastructure and our roads, you know, we have a annual capital improvement program where we set a plan 5 years going forward of how we're going to spend our money on what type of capital improvements. Capital improvements being things that need to get fixed or things that need to get built, things that need to get done, are assets in Milpitas. Every brick, stick, cement, rock, every park, every lawn, every tree, slides, playgrounds, pools, street lights, gutters, sewer pipes, water pipes, pretty much like everything you could fix with things at Home Depot. And so um, this is the reason why, you know, maybe your street in your neighborhood, the road isn't repaved yet. That's coming soon. Maybe that's why the street or the road in front of your house is paved, because everything is synchronized. And then Tim, you mentioned earlier about the schools. You know, I want to remind the residents that our city government and our school district are two separate things. And when it comes to all the work I do, I don't touch the schools at all. It's a school district funding, and they have their own budget, which is pretty solid. And sometimes there's collaboration, there's joint use. The new school at McCandless, there's a lot of joint efforts there when there's a city property and the school district trying to come together. So, you know, those things are great. And then you look at the sports center, you look at Air or Calaveras Hills is, you know, there's kind of a joint use there. You see the district and the city really together there.
Well, one thing I actually want to ask you about, this wasn't a question on the comments here. We have one more question here, and we'll get to that. Rick, we'll get to you in just a second. But one thing I kind of want you to touch on a little bit is the basically kind of like a city task force with I believe it includes Campbell, San Jose, and Fremont, and I think a couple other cities, but where they send some officers from their city to one city, and one day per month they really go in on traffic and they really try and and you know, give out tickets and find the people who are driving crazy. I don't know how much that you know about this, but do you have any comments on that?
Yeah, definitely, Tim. I'm glad you brought that up. That sort of partnership does happen, and we had it happen in Milpitas more recently. I think it was a few weeks ago. I'm not going to put a number on that, but you know, folks, we had police agencies and law enforcement agencies from all over the area visit Milpitas, and you check out the Milpitas Police Facebook page. You know, the Milpitas Police were very open with the activity, and they're posting pictures and videos. Pretty cool. Shout out Milpitas Police. Thank you for keeping our community safe. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. And so we had that. And I think folks were over by Burnett, Kennedy, and Park Victoria. Just to let the bad drivers out there are some bad drivers in Milpitas. Just to let folks know that we're not, we're here. And we're going to be paying attention to things. And we're going to enforce the laws of the road. So that did happen. I do want to say it was interesting. I was getting messages that day, and Milpetians thought that this kind of collaborative effort that was happening that day with all the vehicles, people thought it was ICE. People thought it was immigration, customs enforcement. Because during that week, it was kind of like they're doing the whole Bay Area raids. Yeah, remember that? Yeah. And I'm not going to get into the political thing with the ICE, but, you know, some folks in Milpitas were freaking out. I was getting text messages. Mayor, what's going on? You doing raid? Not that, it wasn't ICE. It was just traffic enforcement. So I know folks were kind of concerned about that one.
So to touch up a little bit on that collaboration, there's I'm not sure exactly where it is, but there's an article about this. I think it's actually on the Facebook page for Milpitas Police, but it's a collaboration between a group of cities, and what they do is they have certain officers, police officers, traffic cops who are in this kind of collaboration, and what they do is they spend one day and they go to the different cities, into the hot points to help regulate traffic. Right. And it's really cool to see this joint effort between our neighboring cities. And I believe that this time, don't quote me on this, but I think this time was a trial run to see how well it would work. Yeah. But from what I saw, there's a lot of good results. And just letting you guys know that that'll probably happen again. In the near future. Yeah. And you know, just be vigilant. Drive safe. Don't stay off your phone. Watch the road. You know, we're gonna have more bikers coming in. We have people on motorcycles. You know, we have pedestrians walking, And one thing as a born and raised Milpetian that hurts to see is when there's either a hit and run with a pedestrian or accidents.
Terrible.
You know, it just we have to be vigilant. You know, watch where you're driving. You know, and just be safe. Just think about others too. And
yeah, absolutely. And you know, a lot of residents actually ask me about our road law enforcement and how we, you know, folks want to see more patrol motorcycles out there and patrol vehicles, and we're gonna get them out there. We're hiring right now. The Milpitas Police Department is hiring. If you're interested, go to the city website. Go ahead and put your application in. We're looking for the best and the brightest, and those who love Milpitas with all their heart. But we are hiring right now. In the whole workforce, baby boomers are retiring, and so we've lost folks to retirement. You know, but I'll thank them for their service. And we had some some employees retire for, you know, with decades of years here giving to the people of Milpitas. So we do have vacancies in the police department, and I support the police department 100% for protect the city. I've was able to proudly call home, and it was a safe, family-friendly community. And you know, we're doing competitive salaries for our police department so that we're not getting outbid by our neighbors. Okay, and we're ensuring that we are a appealing and attractive place to work when it comes down to things on the paper, which is salary, benefits. And I want to let Milpetians know that we are competitive, but we're smart at the same time. Contrary to rumors or whoever's out there, we're not paying the number one salary. We're not paying the number two salary in Silicon Valley. We're not number one in benefits. We're not number two in benefits. And we're really balanced if you look at the chart or the ranking of salary. So, yes, we are hiring. I hope that we hire every empty position sometime during my time here as mayor. And I would love to see us get our patrol vehicles out there. And I really want to make sure that our officer to resident ratio remains consistent with what we've had in the past.
It's all about safety. So
Yep.
let's we're running out of time here. So let's touch on these two comments that were left here, and then we'll wrap this up. But Rick's comment. Thanks, Rick, for that question. Let's get that answered for you. He's basically saying Calaveras is owned by the state. Is there a way to have us tell the state or ask them to install traffic cameras on there so they can start catching some of these drivers in rush hour? Is there any way we can get some traffic cameras, and you know, maybe even just having them there, people knowing that they're there, will cause people to drive a lot safer. I've seen tons of people run red lights there. So has he, and it gets very congested because, you know, someone runs a red light to try and, you know, make it in there, and then there are 3 cars lined up in the intersection, the other direction can't go.
It's terrible.
So is there anything, you know, is it possible to maybe ask them or inform them to get some cameras on there?
Let's talk about cameras, Tim. We need traffic cameras. We need surveillance cameras, if you ask me. Other cities, they have cameras, and there's going to be a cost. Let me tell you about the cameras. I'm for the cameras. There's going to be a cost to the cameras, and there's going to be maybe some political things about the cameras because it is a surveillance thing, right? And so we'll go forward, and I'm going to support it. It's going to be an item at some point. I'm not going to get into the discussion of it right now and the depth of it, but
Could be another episode.
that'll be another episode. But yeah, definitely we need cameras in Milpitas. Let's ticket folks with the camera, and that has to do also, like we mentioned earlier in this stream, this live video here. We really need to get with the state and figure out how we can take more control of our boulevard in Milpitas. I just don't think it makes sense that Calaveras is not under the direction of Milpitas, the city. It's not helping us. We have great intersection technology, by the way, in Milpitas. We got great people on city staff who have crafted their whole life to making sure that our street lights are coordinated and our intersections are coordinated, and we really need Calaveras. That's the last place where we really need to click it all together, and I'm kind of excited about that. The intersection of the intersections of Milpitas is pretty serious. I mean, we got a lot of technology behind that, and I'm really excited to see, and I'm very hopeful to see what type of new ideas that our city and myself can do with Calaveras. It's just bad. It's just bad. I had someone on Facebook send me a video, and they're complaining about going west on Calaveras, and they're trying to make a left on Able. That light's the worst. I skipped that light, people. Don't even go to that light. You're going west on Calaveras over the overpass. Don't even make a left on Able. I would just, if you're coming from that side of town, the high school, just take Able. You know, take Able from the Jacqueline side, or if you know, if you just go straight past Able. If you're going west on Calaveras, just go straight past Able, make the other left, and then come around the other side.
Make a U-turn or something.
Yeah, and so one day I dream, and I'm gonna work towards that, and we're gonna figure that out.
And one thing with that particular left turn onto Able is, it's based on a timer, not a sensor, and the timer is based on how many cars can fit in the turn lane, and then allowing enough time for, I think it's like 5 or 6 cars can fit in the turn lane, and it's timed to allow 5 or 6 cars to turn left. And it's ran by the city. It's not the city. It's ran by the state.
Okay, there you go, Tim.
Yeah. Sorry for the confusion.
I'll check you, because trust me, you can't get your information wrong. Yeah.
Misspoke, but it's ran by the state, and we can't put it on a sensor. We can't up the timer. But that's just, it's in the long plan to either get control or have a bit of, at the very least, have some influence and what happens there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. There's politics in our roadways, and so we just got to make sure that we're doing the best job we can. And we don't have the answer for you today. We're not doing this video to kind of solve a long-standing issue over a short 30-minute clip. We're just here to have a discussion with you and have a conversation with you, and just be open and honest as much as possible as to what's going on, and we'll get through these challenges eventually. What else we got?
We have a couple more. The Berryessa Creek project. He asked, when will the Berryessa Creek project be done so we can use the walkway? And by the way, we're running out of time here, so we're gonna touch on this quickly, and then if you have any questions past that, Public Works, you can always give them a call. I've asked them a question before. Yeah. They're very helpful. Yeah. You can also message Rich here.
Yeah, hit me up on Facebook. Message me. But yeah, the Berryessa Creek project. Let's see. There's a lot of construction going on right now with our waterways. We're doing flood walls in Milpitas, 100-year flood walls. We're doing Montague Expressway, and there's a waterway that goes under there. We're preparing for the worst flood in 100 years, 100-year flood, I should say. And I don't have the date for you. Go ahead and message me, and I'll go ahead and get that answer for you. Hopefully soon, hopefully this year. Cool. I guess, we're going to wrap it up, huh, Tim?
Yeah, we're going to wrap it up.
But I do want to talk about the worst intersections in Milpitas. We'll have a little fun. I just want to let you know that I experience the same traffic you experience, and I don't plan to just keep sitting in it. There's been a list of priorities that I've spent my time on, and I'm getting pretty close here to working on the traffic mitigation to solve Milpitas' challenges. So here are the worst intersections that I experience in Milpitas.
We need to have like a little animation wheel running.
I know, right? We'll do that next time. We're getting better every time with these videos. So we appreciate you sticking with us.
Shout out to our tech guy Kevin for running this whole thing.
Yeah, you can't see him, but we got a lot of equipment over here. But yeah, definitely 237 going east into Milpitas. As soon as you get into Milpitas and you see Denny's on your right side, Abbott right there, a left turn into the Manor, kind of the main entryway into the Manor. That's an atrocious intersection. and even Abbott, South Abbott getting out. That intersection, we got to figure something out. We got to do something with it. And during my term or just in my lifetime, please, we'll be figuring something out there, and I won't take no for an answer. And I really believe that anything's possible if we work hard enough and we believe and have faith in what kind of improvements that can be done. And it's a recurring trend on Calaveras. You keep going, you know. You take Calaveras, you're going east still. Once you hit Able, I know that left on Able can be interesting. It's not the worst one. East Calaveras, eastbound Calaveras, making a left on Able. Then just once you get to the overpass there on Calaveras before City Hall, you know, that thing kind of goes from 3 lanes to 2 lanes. That third lane on the right is always a good one to sneak past the traffic. And that's what I use, and that's an old trick from an old Milpetian, I guess. Yeah.
Us OGs know about that.
Yeah, sure, yeah. And, you know, once you get over the overpass, you're seeing City Hall, the lanes open up, making a left turn onto Milpitas Boulevard, going eastbound in Calaveras, that ain't too bad. And then going straight in East Calaveras, you get the Hillview. I'm taking you all the way through the city, huh?
It kind of gets a little better as you go along.
Yeah, and I would avoid the right side going eastbound on Calaveras once you're getting towards 680, because that's where it starts to back up over by the Bank of America and the Kaiser. You know, if you're not hitting 680 south like a lot of these commuters, go ahead and get to the middle lane, go ahead and get to the left lane, and that's going to get you passed through there quicker if you're going to the Rose neighborhood or going to the Burnett neighborhood. And then, you know, I think what I really have noticed also is Landis and South Park Victoria. That is just terrible. I mean, we got 2 lanes going south on South Park Victoria, and it is just terrible how slow it is. And you look at one of the reasons why. That's San Jose right there. In San Jose, you know, that's not our jurisdiction, obviously. And so, you know, there's going to be different intersections and traffic once you get over there. And that stoplight, I'm telling you, I don't know who owns that, I better figure it out, but southbound, South Park Victoria at Landis, we got to get that green light going. I mean, we got to get that green light doubled. Southbound, South Park Victoria, and we got to flush all the traffic, all the vehicles. We got to get you into San Jose and just get over there, because it's backing up to Mission Lanes, Bolero. I call it Mission Lanes still. The traffic from Landis, South Park, Victoria, it goes all the way to Yosemite sometimes. And we really need to see if we get that green light going. And, you know, that's for me to figure out and work hard for the residents. And that's about it. You know, Jacqueline's not too bad. Jacqueline 680 is not too bad. If you're taking 680 north, you're coming from San Jose, and you're coming home to Milpitas. You know, once you get off that 680 north at Jacqueline, you're good. Because I think once you get past Jacqueline into Fremont, that's where all the rush hour traffic also starts. I don't know if you noticed that one. And then, you know, Dixon Landing's always pretty
backed up.
It's pretty backed up, especially with the bar construction that we were doing. Remember that, everybody? That was so bad. Oh my goodness. We had the 1 lane on Dixon over the tracks. I'm glad that's over.
It took an hour just to get.
It was bad. It was bad. It was terrible.
Just like that got better. You know, Montague's gonna get better.
I hope so.
And once this construction's done, especially Montague, you will have a nice pathway. We'll have a nice place where we can drive. Be freshly paved streets. It'll be nice. And so things are getting better. You know, over time. I don't think this is a problem that can be solved overnight. It's really not.
Right.
But all we can do is do what we can to make things better. Residents, if you want to know how you can help, number one way you can help is be mindful. You know, stay off your phone, watch where you're driving. If everyone watched the road, we'd have less accidents. We'd have less hit and runs. We'd have less traffic
safety.
issues.
Just be mindful. You know, get your head on straight, and drive safe, and it'll help traffic too. You know, sometimes people are on their phone. You're in traffic, no one's hitting the gas. You're waiting on them. You're giving them a honk.
Or they don't hit the brakes.
Yeah,
I've seen that happen a lot of times.
Yeah, definitely. And I guess the last thing I'll say about traffic is it's not just our cars on the road. It's not about us being mindful of the time that we go to the store or if we're carpooling, or it's really a lot of other dynamics too. And I'm very hopeful for the new BART station. I know the opening has been delayed until further notice, probably early next year. We'll find out as we move forward. But I'm looking forward to the new BART station opening. That's going to be a huge, I think, help. I think it's going to help us. What Milpetians need to realize is that the Berryessa San Jose BART station is opening up concurrently, and therefore it's not going to be a mad rush to the end of the line of Milpitas. I think San Jose right there will be utilized, at a high level as Milpitas. I'm encouraged by the BART station, all the buses, right, the staging areas. I was given a number. I think it was 50. 50 different routes, buses. And then we're going to have a designated area for private tech company buses, maybe the Google bus. And then we're also going to have, pickup for Uber and Lyft. And sometimes folks are on that line now where you get into the Uber or the Lyft with strangers. That's a pretty cool thing. And I'm excited about the bus routes. The VTA bus routes have been updated. And they're very, I think, more effective now. Going to where people need to go, and we got the light rail. We're going to see an increased use in the light rail. I think that's going to help a lot of workers and folks that are employed in the area. So we're lucky. We're lucky that the BART station is opening up. The folks that planned it decades ago, I think 20 years ago at least, they had the foresight to predict the need for public transportation and transit oriented areas like we have in Milpitas now, over by the BART station. So that's traffic, folks. I gotta add one more thing. Speed bumps. I've been getting a lot of contacts about speed bumps. I know speed bumps are, folks want speed bumps. This is a family oriented city, and we can't have speed racers, those Hondas and Acura Integras. I see you guys. Y'all gotta slow down. And the Nissans, 300.
I'm a safe driver.
The 350 ZX, coupe. I don't know.
Convertible, man.
We need folks to slow down and just be cool and just chill and be safe and drive slower. And
it's a family city.
There's
a lot of young kids here.
So the protocol for speed bumps, I'm for it, especially where it's needed. The city sends out technology to measure the traffic and to measure the speed of the traffic and to measure the frequency of, I would say, speeding. And that's called a surveyor. And I'm excited that we have a few surveyors going out to Milpitas. One thing I was told when I was going door to door on a campaign in the past, folks wanted just for their street to be safe, and they don't want cars whizzing by. Disrespectful to the neighborhood. Just speeders are disrespectful. No need to speed, and it'll save you one day. And so let me know if you have a concern with speeding on your street. Message me, give me a call, go to the city website, give me an email, message me on Facebook, Mayor Rich Tran, and I'll get a surveyor out there on your street. I'll get your street on the list of concerned neighborhoods for road safety. That's all I got, Tim.
All right, well, let's wrap it up. Thank you for watching our second official episode of Coffee with the Mayor. And we'll definitely be back. Cheers.
Cheers.
We'll definitely be back. Hey guys, if you like staying up to date with Milpitas and the hot topics that are going on, make sure you subscribe to our channel.
You're watching Coffee with the Mayor Rich Tran.